What's up, y'all? Today I wanted to talk about the new GT deck. I've been playing GT since it first released, and whatever set it was, I think it was like set 3. And when I saw the cards revealed, I knew I was going to make it work, and I knew I was going to make it work specifically with the old support, with the triple flash, with the hyper evolution. So if you're looking for more of a thematic build that can still be competitive, you came to the right place. Gonna go over the cards a little bit, but I'm not gonna read exactly what each one does. Your leader, you swing. Oh, well, let's start by talking about the Unison, because the Unison's more important than the leader, realistically. So yeah, we play 2 of the Unison just because it will occasionally die. And if you're not awakened yet, having another copy, or if it gets warped off of like Kai Seeker Rare, it's nice to have the second copy for that. It starts in your play area, can't attack, has Empower Red 10, and draws a card, does some janky stuff. You're never doing that. But basically, this pluses 3 every turn. You tuck a Saiyan under it, you draw a card. So you're not plussing off of it, but you are gaining 3 markers every turn. And because turn 1 you're going to have 5 or 6 markers on this thing, we play a lot of Unison support to kind of play off of that. The kind of gimmick of the deck is that your Spaceship, your Unison, acts as your second hand. So you have all the sands that you tuck under it. Of those sands, a bunch of them play from under the Unison, usually for 1 energy. So yeah, the cards that we have supporting our Unison, I'll go into in a second. But basically, yeah, you start with the Unison in play, and you're going to have a bunch of markers on it, and you're going to abuse the fact that you have a bunch of markers on it and sands underneath it. So yeah, awakening. You awaken turn 2. If you're not awakening turn 2, you're sequencing improperly. You will always awaken turn 2. When you awaken, you basically draw 3 to 4 cards, depending on how much life you're at. You go down to 6. I was running the 1-drop Trunks. Where is he? I was running this guy to help get down to 4 for our super combo, but honestly, I don't think we need it. The list I'm showing you today is a little more slimmed down, and I think it'll be a more optimal build, and it doesn't need super combos to be able to push for game, as you'll see. On your awakened side, you swing, you draw a card. If you don't have a Unison in play, you can pay 1 red to play it from your drop or your hand with a marker on it. I don't know why you would need to play it from your hand off that, but yeah. And then Spirit Boost 10, once per turn. If you have 5 or more energy, choose a red Son Goku GT with 8 energy in your hand, and it gets 5,000 for the turn. So we have 2 targets for that. And I'll show you the 2 targets later. But let's go into our Unison support. What's keeping our Unison alive through the early game and helping us deal with threats in the late game. So first off, we're a red Unison. So we're running 3 Wolfang. Wolfang's good. It gets through barrier, which people do kind of forget about sometimes. You can deal with barrier threats with this card. And you don't need a minimum amount of markers on your Unison to use it. So like if they get your Unison down to 2 markers on turn 1, turn 2 or something, Wolfang can really save you on that final attack, that final double strike that they were trying to knock you out. Along with Wolfang, we're running 3 Difference of Status. Now, Difference of Status, on activation, you can minus 5k anything. On top of that, you get an additional minus 5k for every marker you Spirit Boost off of your Unison. Just a really, really strong card in this deck, really abusable. I don't think you need 4 of these, just because it can get cloggy. At 4, you don't need or want to open this most of the time. This is more of like a turn 3, turn 4. You want this to deal with their bigger threats in the late game. You'd rather see a Wolf Fang early, because realistically, whatever they're playing in the early game, a Wolf Fang is going to deal with. And to help your Wolf Fang deal with threats in the early game, we have 4 Yamcha Merciless Barrage. Yamcha's going to take those threats. Those thwarting's not really much of a threat anymore now that it's at 1, but say they drop a turn 1 thwarting, you can turn it into 10k with Yamcha, and then snipe it with a Wolf Fang. So yeah, Yamcha, not the greatest free counterplay, I mean, compared to like Trunks and Frieza, but he gets the job done. And then we run the 1 new ruler, because it's active turn 1, which could be pretty funny in the mirror, but also just because it's new ruler. Not much more to say about that. Now let's go into the cards that actually go under the Unison and also play themselves from under the Unison. So first off, we'll talk about Pan, Soaring Through Space. Now this is a card where if you were running the old Crit Goku, shoot, I forget his name, but the one, the 3-drop that turns into a 5-drop if you're 4 or less, this is a definite 4 of. But for my build, it's more of a defensive option that has the option to go into some of your other threats. She doesn't have an ability that puts herself underneath the Unison, but she has an ability where activate main, limit 1, Spirit Boost 1, just play her from under the Unison. She's a 5k blocker. Limit 1 also, you can pay 2 to play Son Goku and a Trunks from under your Unison. Each of them have to be 15k or less. This can be relevant, and I'll tell you why later. We do run some 1-drops to help us get into our plays. You definitely want to open either at least 1 copy of one of these, because it'll help your Unison bulk up and be very hard to kill in the early game. So Son Goku, he's a 1-drop 4k searcher, top 5 for a Red Saiyan 4 or less, but he also has a limit 1 where you from the board you can tuck him under your Unison and add a marker to your Unison. So turn 1, you're going to play him, search, and then tuck him away under your Unison to plus the Unison. And that'll allow you to get 2 cards. You can get 2 cards under your Unison before activating its effect to put a 3rd. So turn 1, you can go up to 6 markers, which is like your optimal play. Pan is could be a 4 of, but because once you play one, it usually sticks. The 2nd and 3rd copies tend to get cloggy, and it only needs to stick the first couple turns, so if they do deal with it turn 3 onwards, you don't really need to play another copy. And Pan just says limit 1, choose a spaceship, tuck a Saiyan underneath it, draw a card, and add a marker to it. So it's just every turn you get an additional tuck and draw, add a marker. Helps fix your hand and helps set up your threats that play from under your Unison. Now these Trunks cards, I feel like a lot of people are divided on these Trunks cards. This first one's definitely the weakest option, but because of his effect, we're still playing him. He's a blocker that just plays for 1, limit 1 from under your Unison if you have 2 or more energy. 3-drop 15k. But the reason we play him, he says, when you play him, choose a spaceship, draw a card, and tuck a, or the same thing that all of them do. You tuck a Saiyan, draw a card, add a marker. So if we're opting for a defensive turn, off of the Pan, we could pay the 2 and play him, and add the marker we just spirit boosted off and fix our hand. So he's decent. He's not great. I personally don't play him most of the time. He's just there because he's an option. The other option, and the one I've seen a lot of people run 4 of, is Super Saiyan Trunks Soaring Through Space. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad card by any means, but you don't need more than 2 of him. Once you see 1 copy of this card and play it, it's a barrier 4-drop 15k. So like if they have removal for a 4-drop barrier, cool. But if they swing it in and kill it, you can get it back. And it can also be played off pen, and like you don't need it past turn 2. So it's I don't understand the philosophy behind playing more than 2 copies of this card, but it's very good for what it is. On play, it'll snipe something. It minuses 10k to a battle card. And also it's a barrier. I mentioned it has barrier. It says when it's in rest mode, your opponent just straight up can't attack your Unison. So the fact that they can't attack your Unison means that's just another attack they have to waste into your trunks. Since it has barrier, they're probably gonna have to attack to remove it. So it's another attack they're gonna have to burn into your trunks to even just like start attacking your Unison if they wanted to try to clear it. Basically, this guy's staying on board. There's very little they can do about it. Alright. Going into the other threats that we play, our main attackers of the deck are our Goku GT cards. We have Battle on Planet M2 Son Goku. He's a crit 3-drop 15k, plays for 1 energy. And he also has the text that this Trunks has, which when you play him, you tuck a Saiyan, add a marker, draw a card. Really good for consistency, and just like sometimes even if you're not going to play him to swing with the crit, you could play him just because like that filter is really good and helps the deck maintain a strong. You're not going to have a big hand a lot of the time, but you'll have a strong hand. You'll have the cards you want to have because you're consistently fixing your hand. And your Saiyans from under your Unison essentially function as another hand in the deck. Next up, we run 4. Yes, 4. You need to run 4 Goku and 4 Super Saiyan Goku, please, if you're playing this deck. We run 4 Soaring Through Space. Now, Soaring Through Space, he doesn't have that effect where you tuck and draw and add a Unison. But when he swings, you choose, what is it? Any Saiyan from your drop, put it under your Unison. So this is our recursion card, and this is why we can get away with playing 2 copies of each of these trunks and still consistently use them. Him being a 4-drop that plays for 1 energy is what makes our primary win condition possible as well. So yeah, this card is the all-star of the deck. He is definitely like, if they were to make a TP for this deck, they would have pulled this card out of the set and made it the TP. Like, that's how good this guy is. Yeah. Finally, the win con that came in the set, we have Super Saiyan Son Goku Pan and Super Saiyan Trunks Galactic Explorers. Deflect, plays for 3, 30k. You can Spirit Boost 3 to minus 30k to their board and give him triple attack. And then he can tuck himself under your Unison from hand or board to add a marker. So that's how turn 1 you can go Spaceship plus Spaceship plus one of these plus one of these, you get 2, and then activate the Spaceship, put a 3rd, and then you go to 6. Yeah. Card's really good. 3 energy, 30k triple attacker, nothing to complain about there. Yeah. Not much else to say about that. Let's see what else we got here. Alright, so now we're gonna... Oh, we do run a Raditz super combo. Because it's the best red super combo, we do occasionally want to put things back into deck that we're not going to be using, and I'll show you what I mean by that. And, yeah. There is there can be an argument made for a sparking super combo in this deck because we stay above 6 and I cut the trunk so that could self awaken. But I think Raditz is fine, and I think opponents will realize, players are gonna realize that attacking the Unison in this deck's not gonna work. Like you can try to wipe the Unison, but you're not gonna get through. There's a lot of defense that this deck can mount. So because of that, I think they will be going at your leader and just trying to kill you early, and Raditz is the right call because of that. I'm running 4 combination attack pan. So now once you see this card, you should know where we're going with the rest of the deck. This is an old promo. I think this is a Dash Pack promo or something. This says it plays for free if you have a Son Goku GT or Trunks GT with 25k or more power in your battle area. And it also says activate main once per turn, choose up to 1 Son Goku GT or Trunks GT in your battle area, and it gets 5k power. So this guy only has 20k. This guy has 30k. So you could use her to free play and boost this guy, who is a triple attacker. So that's really strong. And that's why I'm playing 4, because like we can use it for this guy or we can use it for the OG. Broken Limits Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku. Now Broken Limits is the starter deck GT WinCon. Starter deck. This is a starter deck card from set 3. And yeah, it evolves for 1 on top of a 4-cost Goku GT. So because we have access to a cheap 4-cost Goku GT, that's what makes this chain possible. We're going to, ideally on our turn 3, we can pay 1 to play Soaring Through Space, pay 1 to go into Broken Limits. Hopefully we have like 2 or 3 cards that can attack. So like we'll attack with Leader. We'll attack with, maybe we had one of these out, maybe we had like a Trunks out, maybe we even have like a Pan blocker we can play for free and swing with. Because every card that you attack with, he will gain 5,000. So like if we can free play a Pan and swing with the Pan, that's another 5,000 that he gains. And that's important because if you wanted to just swing with him alone, once he hits 40,000, once he's been boosted 3 times, he gains triple strike. But the real reason that's really freaking cool is because once he's been boosted a bunch, we can just evolve right on top of him and go into triple flash. And triple flash has deflect, has triple strike inherently, draws you 2 cards on the EX evolve, and if he's been boosted twice, so you only really need to play this guy, swing with Leader, and swing with 1 other card, which is why the 3 Soaring Through Space is really good. The 3 Pan, because you play this and swing with it for free from under your Leader, and like that's just a free 5k boost. So yeah, once this guy's 40k, he cannot be countered. They have to eat a 40k triple strike and combo out of it. That's like 3 super combos. That's a lot of gas you're gonna be wasting from their hand just by swinging with this guy. And that's not even our kill turn. Like you might kill them that turn, but turn 4 is the ideal kill turn. So the reason I'm running a 3-3 split is you can pull this off again the following turn, and you can pull this off again on turn 5. So there's a lot of flexibility in the deck. The Spaceship becomes a toolbox where like you can pivot and play defensively if you run into a Violent Raise. If you run into Mecha Frieza, you play Battle on M2 blocker. You play the barrier guy and sit on him in rest mode so they can't kill your Unison. Like there's all sorts of stuff you can do with the deck that's not typical red, hey, I'm just gonna turn stuff sideways and swing at you. And it's really cool. Like red has a functional toolbox now, which is sick. You get a crit attacker, you get a 20k, you get a barrier 15k, you get a blocker 15k. Like we have a legit toolbox now, and down the line, it'll be really easy to print support for this deck because they could just be like, oh, here's another card that plays from underneath your Unison. Have fun with it. So yeah, we're not done with the deck profile. I just wanted to rant a little bit about how much I appreciate the design of this deck and how it frees up design going forward, where it's such a niche archetype that it's really easy to design for without stepping on other archetypes' toes. So yeah, shout out Bandai, doing a great job on this. Last 2 cards in the deck. Now, you probably guessed one of them, so we'll show the secret rare first. Our secret rare of choice is Hyper Evolution Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku. I mentioned it at the beginning. You should have expected it. And Hyper Evolution, EX evolves for 1. You gotta pitch 2 cards to EX evolve into him. Sucks. When it attacks, it gains 5k, and if it's at 60k, you automatically deal a damage. Even if he gets like Boo Unison, bottom deck, whatever, like you're dealing a damage off of his auto. So, yeah, that's really cool. And activate main, place 2 red cards from your hand in the drop area, switch this card to active mode. So, say you swung with a triple flash, you can evolve on the triple flash, pitch the 2 cards you drew off the triple flash to evolve, and then pitch another 2. So you're pitching 4 cards for it, but you're dealing an extra damage. So you could 4-0 them right here. And you're doing a lot of like pressure here and there. You got the new ruler, you got the crit guy, you got the 20k coming at them. So like, there's some pressure there. So if you can do that like around turn 5 with the triple flash into the Hyper Evolution, then they're not gonna have anything for you. But without further ado, our final card and a throwback to the set 3 build of this deck, we got Scientist Fu. Now, Scientist Fu is great because it draws 2 cards. And what does our Super Saiyan 4 Goku need to stand up and potentially deal another damage for free? 2 cards. That's it. That's why I like Scientist Fu. Also, a 25k double striker for 1 energy. Pretty good for the deck. Appreciate you all watching. That's going to be it from me. More soon. Tune into the stream Tuesdays and Fridays around 8 p.m. Yep. Later.